There is absolutely no way he's trying to land that. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so one last video about this topic, and then we are going to close the book forever. We're going to talk about Dillon Danis, where he goes from here, what he's doing on Twitter. Logan, post-fight, got a real cute moment between him and Nina.
I love you so much. I can't wait to start a family with you. Maybe we can talk about having that baby soon.
Super cute. We are definitely going to watch that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to gauge it on a scale of 1 to 1 million. 1 million being ultimate cringe, never have been matched in your, like the ultimate cringe in humanity's history. Where does it land? Is it a 2? Is it a 1 million? It's gonna land somewhere there, and I'll evaluate the moment, obviously, and then we're going to talk about what some other people have been saying post-fight, and then I'm going to show you something really weird from the fight because Dillon Danis threw a punch at the security guard that he absolutely did not intend on landing, which is kind of weird and makes you wonder, like, what? Why did he throw a punch at the security guard that he did not plan on landing? And this is a clip that came out after the fight, so I don't know. We're going to look at that and then discuss what Dillon's goals were. And yeah, I'm forgetting things. There is one thing I might talk about, but I haven't decided if I want to be that big of a dick yet. So we'll get into all of it, you know. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel yet if you haven't yet. And then also, if you guys are Kratom users, I have a special treat for you guys. Happy Hippo Kratom, okay? You don't have to just shove powder in your mouth all the time, okay? That is the cheapest, most effective way to do it. Well, no, cheapest, not most effective. But there are other options, dude, like Kratom shots. Their Kratom shots are the bomb, and they are super, super cheap, okay? We got all these different ones, happyhippo.com. They sponsor a couple really, really awesome channels. They're one of my sponsors now. They're one of Shab's sponsors. I think that they, well, actually, I don't want to say another name because I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, they're great, dude. Check out Happy Hippo and take a look at all their products because they're the bomb. There's a link in the description, and then if you use promo code JesseOnFire, you get a huge discount, dude. Huge. And let's go ahead and jump right into this thing. So let's start with the punch that he threw at the security guard, and we'll just discuss that really quick. What the hell was he doing? Why would he throw a fake punch? And then we'll talk about what's next for Dillon and what he's doing on Twitter right now, because I guess it would be the most predictable thing ever, which is hilarious. Anyway, so here we go. Let's start right here. So you tell me, you know, as a trained observer of combat sports, did Dillon plan on landing this punch? And if not, why did he throw it? Ready? He's trying to land that punch. There's no way he's trying to land that. Absolutely not. None. Absolutely no way that he was trying to land that punch. And I realize people are going to go, are you serious, dude? Did you see the whole fight? His boxing's that bad. No, it's not. Okay? His boxing's bad. It ain't that bad, dude. That was the definition of pulling a punch and throwing it to look like you're throwing a punch. Watch him step back. He doesn't even step back. He steps away. He's very intentionally trying to miss, come up short. Watch it one more time, just really quick. Step back, see? So anyway, I mean, it's not like a super big deal, but he definitely threw that punch without intending on landing it. I think that his goal was to have the fight end in disqualification, okay? I think that was the goal. I think that his initial opportunity to do that was he was going to try to choke Logan, obviously. And when that failed, he threw a punch at the security guard. Here's another thing that I wanted to show you guys, because there's this moment where the security guard jumps into the ring, okay? And hang on, let me find real quick. The security guard jumps into the ring, and I'll show you why this is funny. Is because Dillon is saying that he's going to protest this to the wait, what the? Oh, whoops. There we go. He's going to protest this, right? So he's saying like this is a violation of the rules, and he's going to protest the outcome of this fight because of this moment, which is Logan's security guard entering the ring when he was clinched up with him, trying to choke him. And I'll tell you why that's hilarious, and I'll tell you exactly why this actually happened. I mean, it should be pretty obvious, but nonetheless. So this is Dillon is saying there were multiple offenses. I'll be submitting my appeal to the commission today, and what they're talking about is security entering the ring before anything had happened. Ready? And then boom. Right? Security guard jumps in there, and that, I guess, should have been a disqualification, but here. So let's talk about it. off. Okay, so Dillon is saying that he's going to protest that, and he's submitting his appeal to the commission. First of all, he's not going to do that. He is definitely not going to do that. He has a lot of other tweets that we need to talk about also, but he's definitely not going to actually submit a commission appeal or whatnot. But let's talk real quick about why the security guard jumped into the ring, because this is pretty straightforward, I think, relatively straightforward. So I'm going to take you back. It's a really long time ago. I'm sure everybody's forgotten about this by now, but they had the press conference on Thursday, right? Logan threw a water bottle underhanded at Dillon, and then Dillon smashed his face with a blunt object, right? So I think it's fair to say that anyone with a brain knew that, assuming that Dillon was not going to do anything totally crazy that could potentially hurt Logan would be a very stupid assumption, right? So if you're going into that fight and you know that he's a jiu-jitsu world champion who can strangle you a dozen different ways, you got to ask yourself, like, am I willing to allow this guy to grab me and then choke me unconscious? Probably not, right? By the way, did you see the size of that security guard? We'll go back to that in a second. But obviously, Logan told his guy, if he grabs a choke on me, get in there and pull him off me. For sure. For sure. That's why he went in there, is because he had explicit instructions where if Dillon went for a choke, he was supposed to go into the ring and pull him off. For sure. That's why it happened. But nonetheless, let's just look at this again, because you know how big Logan Paul is. Look at the size of this fucking guy. Look at that guy, dude. Look at how huge that dude is. That guy's like 7 foot, dude. That is an enormous human. Look at him standing next to Jake. Look at Jake is barely over the ring or over the ropes. That dude is 7 foot tall. Anyway, just something that I wanted to show you guys because I thought that was funny. I'm trying to think of when I should move over to this portion, which is this portion, which is the backstage interaction between Logan and Nina. And I'm really asking myself how big of a dick I want to be about this. But I mean, we already set the tone. We're going to see if this can reach, like those things where you know, at the carnival where you take the thing and you hit it and it goes up to the bell. Can you get it all the way up to the bell? Like the bell being maximum human cringe of all time. Can we get it to the top? Can we break the record for cringeness? Well, we'll see. We're going to go to that in a second. But first, let's go over to Dillon Danis's, Twitter now. And let's just look at the types of things that he's been saying since the end of this fight. Because, extremely notable. And actually, you know what? Before I even go into this, I want to say this. What's next for Dillon? Okay, that's obviously a question that I've seen a lot of people asking, or at least hypothesizing about, right? So I hear a lot of people saying no one will ever book Dillon ever again. I think that is true in certain types of events. And as an example, I don't expect to see Dillon in any kind of celebrity boxing thing ever again, obviously. And not even just because he didn't do well in the fight. He obviously, he threw like no punches, Like that's the other thing too that I haven't heard anybody talking about is like, he only threw like 11 punches in this round. I'm like, and like 4 of them were this thing. Were that thing. I mean, I think it's fair to say you could take those punches off the punch count too. This thing, whatever, I think he was doing like a Nate or something there. I think you could take those off, So they were even less than we thought. And what I was thinking about today when I was just kind of looking back over it a little bit is like, that fight must have been so fun for Logan, Like it's just, and it's kind of, I don't know, like thinking about Logan having so much fun in there, just, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, does he deserve that? Not really, Not really. Even though he's taking a bunch of shit after the fight, it's like, like some guy trolls you that hard for like months, humiliates your fiance, you feel all guilty, you feel like you threw her into the fire. And then what's he win, guys? What's he win? Oh, he gets to go And the dude who did that is going to stand in front of him like a human punching bag for, what was it, 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Sounds pretty fun for Logan, you know. Sounds like he gets a pretty nice prize there, which doesn't feel very, if you were trying to land the punch. No. Okay. Now, the only reason this is relevant is I think it just illuminates even more the fact that Dillon went into this fight, I don't think with any intention of even winning. I mean, the more I'm looking at this, the less I think that he ever had any intention of winning this fight, dude. And I'll show you his tweet in a second, but he also tweeted something like, give me a real camp and let's see what happened. And you're like, what? I mean, dude, did you not have time to do a camp? I don't understand. Like, because I remember in the KSI fight, he said that he walked away because, well, recently he said because it wasn't a big enough fight, it didn't matter. But he also said, I don't have a coach, I haven't had a camp, I'm not ready. Okay, so then as soon as you book the Logan fight, you would think that you would get a camp immediately and a coach, etc. So he didn't do that. Given that he is a world champion in jiu-jitsu, you can't pretend like this guy doesn't know what it takes to be good at martial arts, okay? Like, there's no way that anybody, like, he's a lot of things, dumb ain't one of them. You know what I mean? So then you got to ask yourself, did he really even intend on winning this fight? I mean, he said in the lie detector that he was going to, but then he threw 5 punches. And a bunch of them were this one. Dude, I don't even think those count. So you take those off the board. How many punches did he throw? And you want to know what bothers me the most about that? What bothers me the most about that? And I'll tell, you know what, actually, real quick, if I didn't say it earlier, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying my content or if you enjoy this content, because we'd love to have you. Anyway, but so what bothers me about the entire fight the most, right, is that the ultimate outcome of this fight is that Logan, who was more upset and angry at this guy than anyone has ever been ever. I mean, think about the troll job that Dillon did on this, you know? Like, think about the troll job that Dillon did on this. Like I said, I mean, he humiliated Nina. Absolutely humiliated her. And I actually saw a clip on Valuetainment about this today where Patrick Bet David, Candace Owens, and Adam from Valuetainment were talking about it. And they're like, look, man, I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's not like she's not like on OnlyFans. She's not like an escort. She's not, like, there are girls that are way worse than her. And I'm like, that's actually, that's fair. That's a fair point, Like, you could certainly paint her as like a gold digger social climber for sure. But like, as far as like loose moraled women, like, they're a lot worse. But nonetheless, Dillon made her out to be like the loosest girl in the history of the world. Logan feels responsible. And then what's the outcome? Logan gets to use the guy he hates most on earth as a punching bag for 18 minutes? Like, does Logan deserve that? Why should that would like be the most satisfying thing of all time. You know what I mean? Like, think about the person you hate most on earth and then imagine them standing in front of you and letting you, while you are juiced on EPO for sure, so you can throw as hard as you want for as long as you want, just teeing off on them for 18 minutes. Like, I can't even think of anything that would be more enjoyable than that. Why does Logan get that? Logan gets that. Logan Paul. Like, Logan Paul gets that. From the lifetime of good karma that he's banked. He gets to just go in there and pulverize. I mean, it's not like he did a bunch of real damage, but like, he got to sit there and punch him over and 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 over. 18 minutes. There's no justice in the world, man. But, whatever. I mean, like I said on Saturday night, I will say this. Every time that Jake and Logan are in the same place, it's like it breaks my brain. Because I like Jake more and more. From the beginning, I was always like, this guy's a really good troll. I could tell he's probably like a relatively good guy and he's just really smart. Like, I could tell I really like him. And every time I see anything from Logan, it's like, oh, God. It just makes, I don't know, man. Try not to just be a dick just to be a dick, because like I said, I was going after him this whole time about the lawsuit. By the way, if he does keep this lawsuit on at this point, like, if he seriously goes, like, lets Nina go through with this lawsuit at this point, I don't even know, dude. Don't, like, just, I honestly, I can't even think about it because it would be so ludicrous. Like, it would be so ludicrous if he actually kept this lawsuit on. I would say that after the fight, though, aside from Dillon tweeting about it, there's not going to be that much attention on this whole thing. So I would hope that they would just do the right thing. You said you forgive him, dude. That's what you said. That's what you said. He's still a new dad. You know? Should probably look, you know what I mean? Anyway, all right. So let's look at Dillon's Twitter, and then let's also discuss one other thing here. So what is Dillon going to do now? Right? Like, what exactly is going to happen for Dillon now? Okay, and I'm gonna answer that, and then we're gonna look at this thing where, you know, because here's basically what Dillon's doing, as could be expected. He's saying that Logan should have been disqualified, which means that he actually won. I mean, listen, dude. In terms of maximum troll skills, 10 out of 10, you know, of course. I've seen people just straight up saying, like, dude, the entire thing was a troll. He never had any intention of winning. He just went in and trolled the whole thing. I mean, I guess maybe. But saying he's going to submit an appeal to the commission. I mean, listen, because what happened here, he's saying that the security guard went into the ring when he tried to jump for a guillotine. Now, why do you think that is? Boom, is in the ring. And look how huge this guy is. Look at how big that guy is compared to Logan and Jake. That dude's like 7 foot. Okay, so Dillon says he's going to, he's going to submit his appeal today. All right, well, so why do you think the security guard jumped into the ring? I'm talking to everybody. You know, pretty straightforward, right? I would say as soon as a guy at an event, you know, that is promoting the fight hits you with a blunt object, you can basically know for sure that there's nothing this guy won't do, which means, of course, that he is highly likely to choke you in the ring, at which point, if you're Logan, you're like, I think I've decided I've taken enough, unsanctioned violence from this dude. If he goes to choke me, jump in the ring and pull him off of me. I would say is probably highly likely. Now, the likelihood of the commission reversing this to a DQ in favor of Dillon, I would say is about as likely as not going to happen in 100 million years. And I also think the likelihood of Dillon actually submitting an appeal is about as likely as not going to happen in 100 million years. So you think, so what, Dillon's going to write up the commission? He doesn't have a coach. You think he's got an attorney that's going to do this for him? Come on. So, I think that's notable. But also, so what's Dillon going to do? So I've seen a lot of people saying, like, dude, this is the end of his career. Like, Dillon there's nothing else for Dillon. Ridiculous. And I'll tell you exactly why, okay? This is boxing, okay? He's definitely not getting booked for a celebrity boxing match. There is no scenario where Jake Paul is going to box Dillon Danis. That's not going to happen. That I can promise you. That said, here is exactly what Dillon should do. He should continue to troll Jake and Logan because he is under contract with Bellator, and Bellator is getting acquired by PFL, and Jake Paul is under contract with PFL. And if you go Dillon versus Jake in PFL, that will sell, especially if you do it as the co-main event for Francis versus whoever else he fights in PFL. You got dollars sunk into that event, big dollars. And you also have Dillon Danis under contract, right? And you have Jake Paul under contract. Do you think that PFL is in a position to turn away Dillon? If Dillon decides that he wants to fight MMA and he wants to fight Jake, do you think that the PFL is in a position to be this guy's way too unpredictable? There's absolutely no way. Of course they'll do it. They are making their play right now. And the pay-per-view has to work. And candidly, without Jake on it, it's, depending on who they got, Francis to fight, Francis by himself, if they got Deontay Wilder, then sure. Nonetheless, Dillon versus Jake in a mixed martial arts fight, that sells. Okay? So that is Dillon's only play. It's a big play, but that's his only play. Right? Especially because it's Logan's brother and he can, My biggest problem with the boxing events now, I've realized, is it's just I don't know, dude. I don't like mixed martial arts guys in them. It's dumb, dude. It's dumb because the mixed martial arts guys, if you want to do, I don't know, dude. I guess, take the money or whatever. But just as an objective, whatever, proponent and analyst of martial arts, these guys are getting bribed into walking into a situation where they're fighting a person that they would win against 1,000% if they just got in a fight with. And then they're going into a rule set where they are at a significant disadvantage. There's no like mystery why these guys specifically are getting chosen to be fighting, dude. And you know what I'm saying about Jake? Dude, Jake, this does not apply to Jake. Because I was going to say, like, these other guys, they have no knockout threat. There's no threat of getting knocked out by these guys. I mean, that's why they're getting picked. Now, that's why when I said that when Jake, and all he had done is beat Ben Askren at this point, and I said, if he actually fights Tyron Woodley, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear shit about Jake ever again, because that's gangster. Go watch the Robbie Lawler knockout, and then tell me that Tyron Woodley poses no knockout risk. He has nuclear power in his right hand. If he takes that fight, he's a gangster, and he did twice, and then starched him. And then fought Anderson Silva and won. And then fought Tommy Fury and lost. And then fought, you know what I mean? Then he fought Nate Diaz because everybody wanted it. And he tested his cardio against him. Like, that's the thing. That was it's a 10-round fight. And he knows this guy's a zombie cardio machine. Now, Logan Chael made quite the call that Logan is clearly on EPO, which I would assume that Jake would be also. And candidly, if I was fighting in something that didn't have drug testing, I would be also. But nonetheless, I just don't. It's like, two guys fighting. It's supposed to figure out who is the tougher guy, and people. I don't know. I mean, if you take the money out of it, it's absurd for a jiu-jitsu champion to go into a boxing thing. It's also absurd for him not to train, Like, I honestly think that it is very likely that we saw clips of, like, every time Dillon trained for boxing, Like, we saw him, he trained with Alex Pereira. And then he trained with this guy. It's like, those might be the only times he trained. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? He didn't have a coach. He had no one driving the ship. Probably intended on just, I don't know. Anyway, let's look at his Twitter, though. Right? So let's look at, Hang on, let me move this over just a little bit. Whoop. We're going to look at his Twitter really quick, and then we are going to, we're going to look at the God level trend, the super God level cringe. Dillon Danis doing this. Okay, so Connor and Dillon are, they're doing the brotherhood thing. I respect that, and then we're talking about the multiple offenses thing. And then here, I did the worst damage to Logan's face in a second than he did in 18 minutes. We knew this was coming. As soon as this happened, it's like, all right, well, so even if he gets knocked out, he could just come back to this. This is the one that I really don't understand, though. Like, I just, you know what I mean? Like, I can't wrap my brain around this particular tweet just because it's like, whose decision was this, right? He's like, you ran from a jiu-jitsu guy for 6 rounds. Every interview you bragged about knocking me out in the first, but guess what? You barely touched me. Give me a proper boxing camp, and considering your pathetic unwillingness to fight, I'd obliterate you. Okay, so he's he's trolling, obviously. Like, he's trolling. But nonetheless, like, give me a proper boxing camp. It's like, well, why didn't you do one? Why didn't you have a proper boxing camp? I don't understand that at all. I mean, I agree. It's not like Logan hurt him, but again, Logan, like, it was all like, this is what I'm saying. Like, watching it now, like, thinking about it, it's like all this, like, all this built up anger that Logan has. He's furious. He is furious. And then he gets to come out and like, what made me think of is like what the fight was actually like. It's like, someone who's just like, and they're so mad. They're going to let it out. And then, like, they whoever they're mad at, they, like, cut out a picture of their face out of a magazine. They put it on the punching bag. And they're like, that's, like, what this fight was like, Like, it's not like Dillon got, like, super hurt, But Mr. Angry, he got to let it all out. He let it all out. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and look at Let's do it right now. We're actually going to do this. We are going to go God level cringe, and I'm going to show you guys the post-fight speech, and then I'm going to decide if I'm going to be a real dick. Or, you know what? I am going to be a real dick, but I'm going to definitely put that part behind members only because it's, I don't know, or maybe I'll do the video and it'll be awesome. Maybe I'll just do it totally no holds barred, and then I'll just decide like, maybe I'll just make it public. So here we go. Let's watch this part. So this is the...
Thank you, everybody.
Whoops.
I'm getting
you're getting heavy.
because I'm getting heavy, bro. Thank you.
Oh, whoops. Here we go. Cute. So here's one thing that I just can't help myself but point out. I don't care. This is, how long is this? Oh God, they're gonna be 20 minutes in. No one's watching this. Unless you're a fan. So here's the deal, dude. So you see Dillon, I'm sorry, what? You see Logan hugging Nina. It's in a magical moment. They love each other so much. We love each other. And you're like, well, what's changed for Nina though? You know? Like, there's nothing has changed for Nina. That's what makes this speech so bizarre to me, right? Where I'm like, what exactly like Logan won a decision or whatever that was over Dillon. Nina's situation is unchanged. And then we're going to do this.
I really wanted to knock him out so badly, but I told myself I wasn't going to go in there and fight with emotion. The one thing we did do is beat that fucking bitch's ass.
Yeah.
I mean, he certainly gave you that gift, you know? That's what I'm saying is like, if you still sue him after this, it's like, dude, the guy just stood there and let you pound on him for 18 minutes. Like, I think you guys are even Steven now, you know? He made you mad as hell and then he didn't even fight you. He just stood right in front of you and let you beat him up. That seems like a good trade. Like, you can just drop the lawsuit, you know? Unless getting smashed with the microphone has changed your mind on that, you know, whatever.
We beat that bitch's ass. His face is muddled.
You know, I'm not sure if we earned that, but okay.
At the least. He put me through hell these last 2 months. Me and my girl got stronger than ever tonight.
Come on. Yeah!
I love you so much. I love you so much. I can't wait to start a family with you. Maybe we can talk about having that baby soon. Yeah. Do it tonight! Do it tonight!
Ooh. Oh my God, that I threw up. I threw up at all of that. I actually threw up. Like all my eyes are watering. I threw up. Ooh. Oh man. So I'm asking myself why this part of the video is so hard for me to do. And I know what it is. It's because he's on Jake's shoulders. And I really like Jake, you know? Like, there's basically nothing about Jake that I don't like, you know? I think I honestly, like, I'm so impressed by this guy. And then, you know, and it's like, and I know he's his brother. So I'm kind of like, you know? But then, I mean, it's so cringe, dude. Like, come on, man. I think why people kind of, you know, gravitate towards my content when all I do is just sit here and go, nah, 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 is because you can tell that I mean everything I say. You know, we're like, what's coming out of my face is exactly what's inside my chest. You know, it's like I watch that, I'm like, oh my God, you know, geez. People are like, yeah, this is a genuine person, which is how I feel with Jake, actually. He's great at trolling, but he's like a genuine dude. And with Logan, it's like everything is like it's like an automatron doing an impression of a human, which makes me very uncomfortable. Because when I know a lot of like people who do impressions of humans, you know, like that's kind of like their mode is like, I'm gonna do my best impression of a human. But when they're like, I gotta put on a show for I'm a you know, I'm a robot. And now I got to put on a show. When the devil comes through your door, good will always vanquish evil. And you're like, oh, God, Jesus, man. Jesus. I can't really put the right words to it. It just makes me feel weird, you know? Now, that's probably enough. But here, so what is the full part of this going to be? You know what? Okay, so for non-members, the end. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. We're going to move on now. Now, for members. Now I'm going to be a dick. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this thing. Okay, so apparently there is this video of, it's called like how Nina duped Logan Paul, and I watched it, and I was kind of like, man, so let's see how Nina tricked Logan Paul into marrying her, because